Hey, what's going on? I was about to say long time no see, but I think it's only been a couple days. Uh, it's been a weird couple of days. I played a gig, which was really fun. If you haven't seen the other videos, this year I started DJing some sets, and I played my last one of the year a couple days ago. It was a lot of like funk and disco stuff. Put the playlist in the comments if you want. It's pretty great. I was really happy with it. The time was really fun, and a bit of a different focus. Usually, if I'm playing like a dance set, people want to dance. It's like a rave type of environment, right? So, I'm picking songs that are kind of more dancey. This was like a mixer. This was like an opening party for a art studio. So people were talking, people were doing demonstrations of printing machines and different things like that. So like the vibe wasn't to like get people like jamming out. It was to get people like, in the groove, which was fun because you still have to scan the crowd, but you have to scan the crowd kind of for different things, I guess. It was a really fun time. It was my first set post EMDR. I was a little nervous about that, but I kind of kept it low energy. I didn't try to do anything too crazy. Just kind of like wanted to just kind of keep checking in with myself. Just taking a breath here. So I think the thing I wanted to talk about today was my changing perspectives on work following my EMDR work, CPTSD diagnosis, and the 2+ months that have followed since, where I've kind of been in this recovery state, kind of changing my perspective to work. Yeah. So I work in marketing. I have a specific approach that I really like to take to marketing. I think it works really well. It's something that I've developed over 10 years. I feel like I have a good practice. But a lot of the work I've done is kind of predicated on eating a lot of shit. I did client work for a really long time. I did freelance marketing, and you gotta get pretty harsh feedback from people. You're getting feedback from people who don't even believe what you're doing is valid work. Like they don't even think it's real work, right? You kind of feel like you're in this constant state of like convincing them that you're not scamming them, which is weird when you're doing good work. Why would I want to work in an industry that does that? Well, it kind of reaffirmed a sense of self I had at the time, not now. Or one that I can choose to have or not have, whatever, however you want to word it. I didn't think I was very good at marketing, right? I learned the skills myself. I learned it off YouTube. I learned it through like putting it into practice. But I kind of thought I was full of shit. Or I was kind of surprised when people would hire me for projects and stuff like that. So having clients that are constantly skeptical of the work you're doing weirdly kind of reaffirmed that sense of self. You do kind of create a business around what you believe in yourself, right? Like it's tailored around your like particular interests or your particular approach, right? But I've transitioned out of freelance. I'm working at a company and it's going great. And I feel like I've developed a real like methodology that can like evolve over time and like, I don't know. Just have it focus on me. A real methodology that could kind of like evolve over time and like adjust for like trends and social media and stuff like that. But what happens if you just don't want to do marketing anymore? What I actually like is communication. I like communication. I like the idea that a message gets sent out and then it's received by somebody, you know? Like how do you put out an emergency warning, like an Amber Alert, like a missing kid alert? How do you make sure everybody sees it and takes it seriously? If people at a school like need to get an announcement of something, how do we make sure everybody receives it? Understanding how like meaning is made through things like movies or TV or video games, how it shifts user behavior, how the content we consume affects our perception on the world. I have a lot of thoughts on like social media, short form video in particular. I think it has a lot of similarities to EMDR in terms of the rapid eye movement. I have so many thoughts on it. I want to go down so many rabbit holes, right? I don't know if those explicitly are like jobs, but like those are the types of special interests, I guess, that I think really align with who I am as a person. So does that just mean you like leave all the marketing stuff like in the past? Like do I just abandon all of it? I also don't know if I want to do that. But a lot of this is sitting here and trying to make meaning out of something that like doesn't even exist. This is all hypothetical. Let's look at something a little more tangible. I'm doing DJ sets on the side. Right? I did my first one this year. I'd never done one before. And I played 4 or 5 gigs this year. Different venues, different sizes. Every single one was a different genre. And I'd say they all went pretty well. There was one that was kind of low attendance because I was playing the first slot. And I didn't really match the music to the crowd as well as I think I could have. But those are lessons, right? Like it's not a big deal. I also made a lot of YouTube videos. I made a lot of mixes. I'm not as proud of the mixes as I was maybe at the start of the year. I think I worked really hard on them. And I think my friends liked them. They said really nice things, but I could feel deep down I wasn't proud of them. I didn't acknowledge that feeling until just recently. Like, I'm talking a couple weeks ago. I've been working on it for the whole year, but only a couple weeks ago did I really start like thinking that the things I posted in the year, I don't actually feel very proud of. I don't feel like they were good, or I feel like they didn't connect with people. So then I was like, okay, let's acknowledge that. Let's just look at it for what it is. Let's be curious with it. If you've seen other videos on this, that is like the whole loop, right? Is to be curious about the things that like maybe you don't want to admit in yourself. And I sat with it and I was like, I think I don't like that I looked at this as a money-making endeavor. And what I mean by that is not that I shouldn't have made money off of it. It's that I think I was thinking of that first. That was the first motivation. That was the deepest root motivation of doing the thing. Was I think I'm pretty good at DJing. I think I'm pretty good at like curation. Good enough, but that's not the important thing. The important thing is that I need to make money for X, Y, and Z to be safe, to be secure, to be valuable, to be important, you know, like all the fear of abandonment that comes with maybe not having money or, you know, not being able to buy the things. Maybe it's a safety thing, whatever. But that was the prime operating principle. Okay, so then I'm like, well, if I wanted to make as much money as possible, I could go do a job. I literally have one. But I could do you know, there's routes to develop your income generation by like, you know, getting professional training or different things like that. It's like, why was it that I'm looking at DJing to do that? And it's because I have not had a creative endeavor ever in my life. I never like made art. I never made music. I never made anything like that. Only when I started to kind of like make music and try to make DJ sets and make mixes and different things like that, did that really start to crack with me. Particularly like the DJing, like making a set, making a 50-minute set or a 30-minute set was like such an interesting concept to me, and it's one that I just keep coming back to over and over and over again. And I think I couldn't believe in my head that I could make money off of it, or that I could live a life where that is my profession. Maybe I didn't value it enough in myself, so I kind of saw it as like a cheap roundabout way or something like that. I don't know. It's like maybe if I make enough money doing mixes that are like keyword optimized, then maybe I could do some fun ones on the side, like a you know, like do one for the fans, do one for me or whatever, you know, like those types of things. So it affected the way I made the videos. Truly, is what happened was I think I was motivated by a lot of shame or insecurity around it. That I was projecting that this was more popular than it actually was. To who? I don't know. Like the panopticon, the like mass illusion of people I know that I'm telling them I do this. But that's like where, you know, fears come from, obviously. Yeah, so sorry, I'm just sitting with that for a second. You know, that was a lot to share. That wasn't just like a quick description. It was a lot. So let me sit with that for a second. But just in the last couple of weeks, have I really like dissected what I do want. I feel like I've been resting and thinking about myself. And in the last video, I talked about this of like, when do you self-develop and when do you like throw yourself into an initiative, right? And I think a lot of the energy I'm talking about here is reflected in that video as well, where I want to engage with the world in a meaningful way. I want to find a cause or a purpose that is me expressing myself openly and honestly and authentically, and then in a way that if someone was to come across it, for it to meaningfully impact them. What helped me realize it was making these videos, because these videos were not coming from that place. They were coming from just me wanting to talk to the camera. I honestly didn't even mean to post the first video like publicly. But then I did. Like, I was planning to just upload them as private, but right at the end, I was like, oh, fuck it, whatever, I'm going to post it. And then I was on Reddit a couple days later, and I was like, why don't I, like, share it on, like, the EMDR Reddit? Because at that point, I had been reading, like, the subreddits all the time, which I don't really like to anymore. I think it's a really soft landing ground for people, like, right after EMDR happens, but then there's kind of, like, the long-term CPTSD recovery that I think is, like, a whole different journey, and there's, like, smaller groups for that and stuff like that. But at the time I was like, let me just post them and see if it connects with people. Really with no expectation. Like, I was seeing other people be so open and honest on there, just like freshly out of EMDR, like to talk about that, I guess, a bit. Like, yeah, like the first couple of weeks are like this huge, like, bombshell, I guess. You know what? I think I'm going to close this for a second. I'm going to close the chapter on the profession stuff. I want to close that chapter first, and then we can get to EMDR. Okay, we'll do that separately. I was drawn to DJing because it allowed me to express myself in a way. I was able to collect and curate other people's work and put it on display in a really tasteful and creative way, tailoring it to the kind of like the moods that are going on, who's there, like who is going to be listening to the playlist, where are they going to be listening to the playlist, in the car or in their headphones or whatever. I feel like I literally think about like the audio listening experience. Are you going to have these on shitty AirPods, or are you going to have them on like big, like super high definition headphones? The content's going to be different, right? Yeah. Sorry, the EMDR thing really threw me off. I was like feeling emotional about that just because it's a lot. You know what? Let's pivot and talk about it. I should trust that intuition. I was kind of thinking of the video when I should have just been thinking of my heart there in that second. So, you know, it can be about two topics. We'll put a bookmark in the playlisting stuff. Yeah, being on the EMDR subreddit, I had never been on it before a couple months ago. I had never been on the CPTSD subreddit before a couple months ago. I didn't know I had CPTSD. I was doing EMDR, but I wasn't really thinking about going on the subreddit at that point. It was suggested by my therapist. But there's this moment where you do it and it kind of something cracks, you know? Cause that loop is closed. That like early loop is closed. And it's like, there's so many steps between that and now. Like, there's so many moments that are like painted by that. Especially if it goes back really young, right? And it's like this wave of feelings and like energy, I guess. It's like this flood from like the base experience. Like if you looked at your whole life on like a timeline, it like floods every timeline moment up to now with like a new level of like feeling and capacity to feel. Yeah. Yeah, you'll get hit with random moments that are so in your brain told a specific way. You're like basically retelling what you are doing is retelling your story. It's like you have the whole book from then to now, and then you like got your memory back, kind of. That's actually the best description, is like your like memory was lost in a way, and you're remembering so much. from a different perspective. I guess you're rewriting the story. Yeah. So things that are just so normal and just part of your life kind of become like complete reinterpretations. What does that look like? I'm allergic to birch. The first time post emdr that I remembered I was allergic to birch trees, it doesn't really come up in a day-to-day basis, you know? Sorry, a friend just texted me. And I want to check it, but I also want to stay here with this. So I'm going to stay here with this for a little bit longer. Let me think. Yeah, so I'm remembering I'm allergic to birch. Then I'm like, oh, I'll remember like random experiences of me like telling people I was allergic to birch, and they'll be tinged with this level of like, oh, but it's a stupid allergy and it doesn't even really count. It's not even like peanuts or anything important. It's like such a dumb allergy. Like, and I'm like, whoa, oh my gosh, like I was like littling myself in like grade 4 to other people. Like why was I talking about it like that? Yeah, and then you just start to go down this rabbit hole of like, oh, so have I not taken my allergies seriously? Like, oh, I have cat allergies, and like, do I take those seriously? Like maybe I'm living like allergic in situations where maybe I don't have to be, and maybe I can go get the shots or whatever, right? Like, so much is hitting you all at once. Like now, I'd say it's hitting me maybe once every few days. There'll be a big one. But for the first couple of weeks, it was everything you're looking at, you are understanding stories from it. You're retelling your own life in relation to as like early as like colors or like sounds or shapes or like senses, I guess, like noises and different things like that, up to like body functions, to memories, to books you've read, to fiction, to nonfiction, to like concepts, like metaphysical concepts, or like your relation to like religion or these different things. And you could process them and they could be basically exactly the same, right? Like you could think about it and be like, yeah, it actually didn't really like affect that much. And you just kind of like move on with your day. What can end up happening though is like there can be some that were impacted a lot, and you're basically like rewriting your like internal narrative at that point. You're thinking about what you said or what you did and like being kind to that version of yourself that was just trying to protect you, because in the moment, at least for me, I saw everything that I was doing in these situations as like terrible. Like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I socialize like a normal person? Why can't I fit in like a normal person? Why can't I do the things that a normal person does? Why can't I like exist in an easy way? Why does everything need to be so hard? And it was all my fault. Like it was because of me. It was like I was like fundamentally like broken. When you realize that you're not, or you're able to be kind to yourself for the reasons that did change your perspective, you know, like when you're a kid that has to deal with adult things, it does change the way you engage with the world, right? And what I was looking at that as is like a massive I was looking at it as a terrible thing instead of just what it is, which is just that it exists. And then when it exists, you get to kind of sit with it and be like, oh, like, all right, well, if I know this about myself, what do I want to accept then? You know, yeah, these narratives don't have to exist from that. I can choose to change them, or I can choose to be kinder to myself. From things like not being able to learn, like I didn't think I could learn properly because I had seen that I was a visual learner, and that I interpreted that as, well, school isn't visual, so I'm going to just be fucked in school. I'm fucked. And I just gave up. And I was like, well, no, there's like, just because you have a learning style doesn't mean you can't learn in the other ways. It's just there's a way you learn the best. So maybe you can like try to learn it, try to turn it into a visual to help you learn, right? Like it was like a defeatist attitude to learning because I was just like, well, like, like whatever, who cares? It doesn't matter, you know, like, can you just kind of like throw it away? What if you have a little more care with it? Or what if you're able to share that with a person, an older person who can like reaffirm you? Okay, well, when that lesson gets learned in that moment, well, how does that carry forward into the present? Well, it's like, then I'm making music for 5 years, but I never learned music theory, or like I never learned how to play the piano, even though I wanted to, because I was just like, oh, I can't learn those things. Like it manifests in such like interesting ways, you know? Yeah. And those are the types of things you're rewriting constantly. I like even just like a week or two back, I was so obsessed with like collective consciousness, like lessons we all know, lessons we all practice, like treat others the way you want to be treated and stuff like that. Like when I say collective, I mean like, you know, it tends to be culturally based, but like, yeah, lessons they teach you in like kids books or lessons they teach you in movies and like children's movies. Like, I don't think I fully understood the concepts because I was just like, I can't, like, at some point I just wasn't taking in information the same way as other people were, right? So I'm like learning new things all the time, or it's at least renegotiating my perspective on them. I know them and I know how I feel about them, but then I'm like, do I know how I feel about them? Like, what do I really want to keep that narrative? Because then you end up changing a lot. You tend to have new standards, you tend to have new values. And you're able to trust your gut a lot more because your gut is built up by things you actually believe in. You see, there was this gap in the middle of this video where I started to kind of look at the video. I started to realize I was making a video. And what I did was I was like, oh, I'm not talking about DJing anymore. I'm talking about EMDR. So I should stop the video so that I can separate that as another topic. When the entire point originally was to just talk into the fucking screen, right? Like, and then I had to sit with that for a second. I switched to EMDR. Then I came back and then I was like, let's close out YouTube. Let's close out DJing. Let's come back. I literally felt it in real time there, be like, how do I feel about this? Like, oh, like I think I'm deviating from my principles. My principles are that these videos are just me talking into a camera. My values are brushing up against my actions. Let's sit with that for a second and let's renegotiate how we feel about that. Bro, I would have never done that before, and it literally just happened. Yeah. So it's like, it's literally even happening right now as I'm describing it, which is what's so weird. And it makes me feel like I'm talking in like fairy tale loops. Like sometimes it feels like the things I'm talking about are so, I'm like, people have always described me as like a jester. And I was like, I don't even know what a jester really is. I was like, I don't think I paid attention to what that was in school or like asked too much about it. I was like, what the hell is a jester? What is it really? Or like the Fool tarot card. I'm like, is that, what concept is that? I think it was just because I was being silly, but like that's what it literally leads to in a lot of situations. And a thing that was very not grounding but reaffirming was being on those subreddits. People are posting when they're having those breakthrough moments and they're going, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? I don't even know where I am anymore. I don't even know what I need to do. Where am I? What's going on? What's happening? Da 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 da. Right? And it does make you feel less alone because you're like, hey, like I'm getting through it too. And like each day I'm waking up and each day I'm reinventing myself and making the most of it. And for a while of it, I was working, and now I'm able to go on sick leave and rest for a little bit, which I'm so grateful for. Is like, this wouldn't have happened if I didn't just keep like waking up each morning, and you're waking up each morning and you're making it, you know, like you're getting through it. And I'm speaking at least from my position. I'm not going to speak for people who've had it 10 years ago. I'm going to just literally speak for who I am. You've seen these videos. If you fuck with the videos, you kind of know my position on it. It does get better. Like it literally does. It doesn't mean it's easy. It doesn't mean it's like a painless experience, but it does get easier because your renegotiations don't have to happen like every single second, I guess. But even in a more large circular story way, you know, you waking up each day is like enough evidence that you love yourself, that you can get yourself out of that hole. That choice is like the only choice, right? Like, wow, okay, this is tying in so well to everything I was saying. This weirdly all tied together. I just had to trust the process. Which, you know, is its own funny thing. Okay, that choice to keep existing, to keep moving forward, to keep waking up in the morning, is actually like, as we enter an age of AI entertainment and AI content creation, information consumption, it's becoming so all-encompassing in all of these different things, and claiming to be able to replace people in every single aspect or in all these different aspects. The one thing we have is the ability to make a choice, like to on a cosmic scale to wake up each day, but like on a much oh my god, I'm witnessing an almost car accident. Oh my gosh. The rare road rage in the city, it surprisingly is not a common occurrence. Anyway, I think about it specifically through one certain context. I'm not going to apply it to every single context, but my own relationship with it and music, not music creation. That's its own separate topic. But I'm talking about playlist curation. I'm talking about DJ mixes. I'm talking about recommendation algorithms and stuff like that. An algorithm can serve up a pre-made station, like or a playlist. If you like a song and it says make a song radio and on Spotify, and then it like whips up a playlist of like similar songs, it can give you similar songs based on sonic consistency. It can do it by genre. It can do it by year it came out or the artist that they're associated with, like features and different things like that. But it can't have taste. It can't like be like, this is human and this is like lame, or this is like poser shit and here's why, or like, you know, this is a stupid song and I don't want to put it on the playlist. Like, and then you can disagree with it. It's like, that is human. That is human. It can probably shuffle to a point that could mimic the consistency of a human's taste, whatever, but like it doesn't have taste. It can't pick songs. It can't choose if a song is good or not. And it can't choose if a song is right for the context or the situation, especially situations where you're listening with others, to read off the energy of a room, to, you know, like curate an experience that like keeps everybody kind of like in the groove, or, you know, if they really want to dance, is it focused on dancing? Is it focused on chill background music while you do other stuff? Like, it goes beyond DJ sets, which is, I think, the way I kind of like channeled the focus through. But I think what it actually maybe is it's more like playlist curation, or like choosing songs for the moment. I don't know. I'm sure there's a way to describe it in a pompous way, and I'm sure there's a way to describe it in a non-pompous way. But I think that is a skill I've fortunately cultivated by asking people if they like stuff by accident, but it actually is a thing that's really fun. It actually turned a thing that is maybe negative, that um, I would like music, but then I'd want to be like, do other people like the music? So I'm like, let me play it and see what they think, and like, tell me what you think and tell me what you don't. And I felt comfortable enough to like things, even if other people didn't like things, because I knew it resonated with me. Like early music I was listening to, um, yeah, I'd listen to Billy Talent, and I'd listen to like pop punk or whatever, and I would feel something, right? Like before I was listening to Weird Al, and obviously I fuck with Weird Al, but like it's the first time you're like feeling emo, you know? And it was enough of like an emotional click that like basically started like an obsession with music for myself. Because before then, when I'm like 10, or even maybe a little bit before, um I would listen to music that my family would play. I would listen to music that other people would maybe play. I don't think we were like old enough to like be super into music, but like things people would play, I guess I didn't really care. I would just kind of listen to whatever. But then when something really like emotionally resonated with me, I became kind of obsessed with music. It was all I was doing. It was all I was listening to. It was all I was thinking about. All I was thinking about was artists playing. Could I be an artist? How do I get involved? How do I just hang out with them? How do I like do something like that? Like like, what is this? Um, and then every genre, and it expands outwards. And so much of it was like, it would be something that I could see someone kind of like poured themselves into. That was like around the time that like on like browsing the internet for music, being like maybe 16, and hearing like Young Lean and Blade. Um, yeah, and then I was like, oh my God, I fuck with this, but other people don't fuck with this. And then I was like, I would play it for them, and I'd be like, why? Why don't you fuck with this? And they would tell me. I got to turn on Do Not Disturb, because each time it pops up, I get distracted. um, yeah. I never really considered that I really like music because it can make you feel things, even if you couldn't feel anything, right? Like it woke me up in a way that nothing else ever did, and I never really realized that until right now. So I really hope you appreciate that. Not you appreciate that. I really appreciate that I could do that here. Um, this might be a less coherent one. There's a lot of feeling, and it's really cold out. Um, yeah, I um it's hard to make sense of it all. I think that's the hardest part of EMDR. Your brain's trying to make sense of it, and because it was making sense of everything before then, everything had logical reasons and stuff like that. Um, but it's your brain kind of losing the ability to hold on to everything, and truly letting go for the first time, is what makes those first couple of weeks so difficult, and to a point where it's still now like 2 months in, and I'm still like, I feel like I have so much to say. Um, I feel I feel like I want to go back inside. I appreciate you listening. It does get better. Things do get better. Rooting for you if you're listening to this. I'm excited to start working on some playlists that are human curated, you know, like made by me because I thought about them and I empathize with the experience, and I picked one that really connects with me, right? When I put a song on there, it means that I believe in it. I give a pledge to it, you know? Yeah. See you later.